What's up, everyone? My name is Natasha Bryant, your host on Speak Life Transformation TV. You're watching another episode of Therapy Unveiled. Therapy Unveiled is an opportunity for us to talk about different topics that I help my clients with in therapy with the hopes that you too can learn the tips and strategies to live your best life. Today is the first episode of a 3-part series about expectations. And I chose to make this into a series because when I first was thinking about just doing one episode on expectations, I was like, wait, there's so many different concepts of expectations. There's so many different stressors or topics or directions that you can go in when you're talking about expectations that there's no way I could just do it in one episode. So I decided to break it down into 3. So today's episode is expectations regarding perfectionism. Another episode is going to be expectations regarding people pleasing. And another episode is going to be about expectations regarding this ideal life, these expectations we have for the world and for others. And so today's episode, again, is about expectations when it comes to perfectionism. And so I thought of this because I was working with a client, or I am working with a client, and we have been really working on perfectionism and the expectations that she has created for herself and for others based on this requirement to be perfect. And it has caused her lots of stress. It's caused her to feel anxious. It's caused her to even feel depressed at sometimes. It's caused her to question her worth and her value. It's caused her to constantly try to gain this acceptance from other people so that she can feel worthy. And we finally reached a point where she's freeing herself from this perfection, y'all. And I'm just super excited about what 2022 is going to look like for her, because she is finally at a point where she is like taking it all off. And so I'm going to get to that point. But let's talk about the initial stress. And so initially for her, perfectionism has been a form of strategy, a strategy for her to get the praise that she feels she needs to be validated that she is enough. And so she would have these expectations for herself on how to show up. She had to not make mistakes. She had to be perfect in all areas, as a mother, as a wife, as a professional. And that caused her so much stress because, hello, none of us is perfect, right? So that's one. But then 2, she would just put so much pressure on. She would get so hard on herself if she didn't show up perfectly, right? Because then it's this fear. If I don't show up perfectly, if I don't do all the things correct, then I won't be able to validate. I won't get the validation that I am enough. And that would cause anxiety, right? And so I'm even asking you right now to think about, is that something that you're experiencing where you are trying to do all the things in such a perfect way? You're trying to excel at such a high level so that you can prove that I belong here, so that you can prove that my worth has value, because it is a struggle to do it on your own, but hearing it from somebody else is like, okay, if they see it, then it must be true, right? That's where that perfectionism and that expectation comes from, because you saying it to yourself, you don't believe it enough within yourself to just say it and believe it. You have to hear it from other people. And needing to hear it from other people then puts the pressure on you to perform at a certain level so you can get that feedback from people, right? It's whether it's like, you might be having thoughts about, how do I show up? Should I show up this way? Should I act this way? Should I talk this way? Or you might have what if thoughts, or what if this happens, or what if that happens? And you're nervous about the future, and you're trying to predict the future, or whatever task you take on, or whatever social situation you find yourself stepping in. Before you even go there, you're overthinking about, how do I show up? How do I sound? And trying to think of all the different ways to prevent negative responses, to prevent rejection, to prevent people from seeing you in a negative way, to guarantee that people will see you the way you want them to see you. It's so much stress and pressure. I mean, just saying it right now, you might be feeling the stress and pressure. I know, just talking about it, I feel the stress and pressure of being perfect and to make sure that people see me in a way that guarantees that I am worthy, that guarantees that I receive the validation, the confirmation, the acceptance that I am enough. So let's just take a pause, right? Let's just take a pause right now. Because even if you're feeling stressed right now, even just hear me talk about it, or just remembering or thinking about your own experience, let's just take a pause and just breathe. So I challenge you to join me right now and taking a deep breath for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. And exhale for 4. Let's do that one more time. Let's breathe in for 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. And this time, let out a deep exhalation. Okay. I know that helped me. My shoulders feel more relaxed. I don't feel scrunched up. I don't feel tension in my neck and my shoulders, right? So I hope that helped you bring down that energy. And my client is at this space where her energy is now at a lower level because she has finally reached a place in her life where she's letting go of all that pressure. She's just throwing it off. She's taking it all off and just showing up as herself. But before we get to that part, let's just talk about how you even get there, right? How do you get to a place where you let go of that perfectionism? And so like I was saying before, that pressure to show up is a lot because you are trying to guarantee that people will give you the response that you actually want. And that's tough because what's happening here, you're trying to control something you have no control over. You don't have control over what people say, how people perceive you, how people receive you. But with this perfectionism, it's like, but wait, I do have control. If I do all the things correct, hello, no brainer. People are going to accept me. But that's not always guaranteed, right? And even if it is, let's just say it is always guaranteed. Let's just talk about the stress that goes into you performing at that level every single time. And also those expectations you have for yourself are not based on what you actually want, are not based on who you actually are. It's based on who you think you need to show up as in order to get this praise that you're looking for. And so that's a whole nother level of stress too, because now you're telling yourself, you can't show up as your real self. You can't show up as your authentic self. What if people don't like that version of you? We know that when I show up as this version, when I show up as this part of myself, then I'm guaranteed to get confirmation that I am worthy for the title I have. I'm worthy for the position I received. I have value in this space that I'm in. So let's not shake up things. Let's just continue to show up in this way. But then you're just shutting yourself out and you begin to lose who you really are. And so the challenge here is to think about, who am I? And how can I reaffirm myself that that's okay? That last part I said, that's okay. That's a mantra you can say to yourself on an ongoing basis, because the expectations that you need to meet in order to fulfill this perfectionism is saying it's not okay. It's not okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to have a bad day. It's not okay to not fit the box that people have created for you. But when you start telling yourself, it's okay if I mess up. I'm still the same person. I still have worth and value. And it's okay if not everybody likes me for it. It's okay if not everybody likes who I am. I'm not going to be for everybody, just like everybody's not for me, right? So just that mantra, it's okay, is freeing and helps you just let it go. Also, the perfectionism keeps you in a very fixed mindset. it gives you this tunnel vision. You have these expectations that I must show up in this way. I have this plan. I need to follow this plan. I can't detour in any way, right? And so with that fixed mindset, then you're really narrowed into this one way idea. And so if something changes, because life happens, if something unexpectedly happens, you're not able to figure out how to navigate. And instead it becomes panic. What do you mean this is happening? What do you mean this is changing? Right? And then you feel out of control because things aren't going the way I planned. The equation says if I do this, then it will equal to me getting the expectations that I want from other people, that I have from other people, right? But when you allow yourself to be like, it's okay. It's okay if things switch up. I'm smart enough to find another plan. I have great problem solving skills. I can figure it out. Then you're able to adapt a whole lot better to situations that you are facing. And that's what my client ended up doing. She began to tell herself, it's okay. Her big thing is she needed to have all the accolades. She needed to get the accolades within her profession, get the awards, get the acknowledgments, right? Because that will prove that she belonged in the space that she was in within her field. And when she's been tussling, changing her career, but not wanting to do it because the direction she wanted to go in wouldn't get all the accolades. It won't lead to all these, the spotlights, right? And all this confirmation that you belong here, right? And that scared her. So she would just continue to do what she's been doing. And every single time she recognized, I don't feel fulfilled. I mean, I'm doing it and I enjoy it to an extent, but it's not really what I want. What I really want is this. And now she's at a place where I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm okay with not getting all the accolades. I'm okay with, it being a rough go and people might not, acknowledge me the way I feel like I need to be acknowledged to feel good about myself, because I'm going to be okay. And that gave her a sense of freedom. And a version that I would describe image-wise is like for the longest, she's been walking around with this knight armor, right? Protecting her from all these negative outlooks, right? And the armor was keeping her safe, right? And that armor was perfectionism. And as long as she kept her armor on and she was being perfect, she was getting all the praise that she needed to confirm that she had her worth and value. But without the armor, she wasn't able to feel that she was valued. She wasn't able to confirm on her own that she was valued. But now, pieces of that armor are just coming off. And there's a sense of freedom. Like, I can relax. I can release my shoulders now because I don't have this heavy weight on me anymore to perform. And now she feels so much more fulfilled. She hasn't even started it yet. She's just been talking about officially moving in that direction. And she already feels the freedom. So could you imagine how much freedom you would feel when you start doing what you actually want to do and not what you think you should be doing based on the thoughts and opinions of others? So this is what I challenge you to do. I challenge you to tell yourself, it's okay. It's okay. I challenge you to affirm on your own that you are enough. Give yourself every single day acknowledgement of your worth and your value. Acknowledge your strengths. Recognize moments where you made a mistake and was able to get back up and get out of any type of place that you felt stuck in. Just really encourage yourself on a daily basis and remind yourself it's okay, because I will be okay regardless. And that will help you shift your expectations, because now your expectations are no longer based on getting this praise from other people. Now the expectation is no longer, I have to perform at this level to guarantee that my worth and value is going to be proven and accepted. Now it's like, well, no, my expectation is if I want to do this, I'm going to do this. And if nobody cares or nobody acknowledges it, that's okay. And then it shifts your expectations to be more about what you want and not what you should be doing. So So I hope this released a lot of weight. That's what this episode was all about. Just releasing weight. Just giving freedom, giving you the permission. If you weren't already giving yourself the permission, giving yourself the permission to let it go. Just be okay with disappointing other people, being okay with not pleasing other people, being okay with creating expectations that may only please you and not please anybody else. Because at the end of the day, that's how you end up living the tailor-made life that is customized specifically for you. So again, I will be doing 2 other episodes on expectations, and I hope you're able to tune in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get alerts when I post those 2 episodes. And until I see you guys again, make sure you be bold, be safe.